There are very important and specific reasons about the Jedi that Mace Windu decided to face down Palpatine with, and why he selected them. Reasons that he believed could combine to defeat Sidious. So, why did Mace Windu specifically choose Saesee Tiin, Agen Kolar, and Kit Fisto to face down Sidious? Greetings again, students of the Force and acolytes of the galaxy, and if you haven't yet, reach out and force crush that subscribe button. It is your destiny. As soon as Windu learned that Chancellor Palpatine was a Sith Lord, and the one that they had been looking for, he knew that there was no time to lose. He immediately got into contact with Yoda before assembling a task force of the strongest Jedi that he had on hand, and immediately rushed off to arrest the Dark Lord. Little did any of them know what lay in front of them, for this mission would not turn out well. However, Mace Windu very rarely does anything by accident, and there was definitely a reason that he chose each of these specific Jedi Masters, and left Shaak Ti back at the Jedi Temple. So, my friends, for this holocron, we are going to go into the histories and skills of these 3 Jedi Masters, as well as the Revenge of the Sith novelization, in order to discover why Windu thought that they would be the best possible choices to destroy Sidious. And in addition to this, we are going to talk about each of these Masters' reactions when they learned too what the mission entailed. So, without further ado, let us begin. Each Jedi Master that Windu selected was first off renowned for their lightsaber skill, which is the largest reason for Windu's choices. As Kenobi stated, he believed that these 4 Masters were some of the best duelists the Jedi Order had at the time. But of course, we want to break down exactly what made each of their skills so legendary by looking at some of their feats. Let's begin with Kit Fisto. Master Fisto was one of the most popular Jedi of the Order. Trained originally as a consular, Fisto was adept at manifesting the Force in powerful ways when in combat, inventing the Force Bubble, which was an underwater technique, as well as pioneering waterproofing lightsabers. The reason Windu placed him on this task force, though, was because he was a specialist in Form 1 lightsaber combat. Form 1 Shi Cho, despite being the beginner form that was mostly taught to younglings, Fisto dedicated himself to mastering this form to the highest degree, which made him into an absolutely devastating combatant. When in the hands of a learner, Form 1 might be clumsy and cumbersome, with its wide-arching, basic swings being somewhat predictable, but the way that Fisto had learned to master it turned it into a force of nature. Because the sequences were so simple, a master of the form could weave them together in complete random ways, making Shi Cho wild and completely unpredictable. Kit Fisto was a master of randomness, and his lightsaber wove itself around him with wild ferocity like a raging river. His exceptional use of the form earned him respect from even Dooku. Some that used the form even believed that it could lead to the dark side because of how aggressive it was. However, Kit Fisto fought with peace, always sporting his signature smile. One of the most impressive accomplishments of Kit Fisto was besting and nearly killing General Grievous in single combat, the only Jedi Master to do so besides Obi-Wan Kenobi. Despite this though, Fisto was anything but at peace when he realized that Palpatine was the Sith Lord that they needed to confront. While standing with the other 2 Masters, Fisto was nervously rambling on about how he had a bad feeling and desired to wait for Master Yoda. He says this in the novel: "I'd feel better if Yoda were here, or even Kenobi. On Ord Cestus, Obi-Wan and I." He would be unfortunately interrupted by the impatient Saesee Tiin, who tried to snap him into reason by laying out all of the facts. But even after he did this, Kit Fisto insisted that he would still feel better if Yoda were there. It's interesting that Kit had such confidence in Obi-Wan, and he believed Kenobi's presence in their task force would actually make a difference in the mission. The account on Ord Cestus that Kit Fisto was interrupted, though, is when he and Kenobi managed to defeat Ventress and a couple of prototype Jedi killer droids, doing so by matching up their techniques and covering each other's backs. It was also that exact fight that Fisto had used Force speed so adeptly that he was able to blur so fast that Kenobi could not see him. This speed would be his best friend during the confrontation with Sidious, as he was the last one of these 3 to go down at the hand of the Dark Lord, after deflecting several of his ferocious killing strikes. But speaking of Saesee Tiin, we'll cover him now. Saesee was an Iktachi Jedi Master who was most well known around the Order for his excellent pilot skills, with some some considering his level of skill to be the same as Anakin Skywalker. Of course though, these skills weren't what caught Windu's eye when he chose him to help take down the Chancellor, but likely his personality was. The Jedi Master was a man of few words, as he had an innate ability of telepathy. This allowed him to briefly see into the future and read minds even without the aid of the Force. But with the Force, his abilities were amplified. According to the novelization of Revenge of the Sith, the only reason Saesee died so quickly at the hands of Sidious was because he mistakenly dropped his guard while trying to read Palpatine's mind at the beginning of their fight. Saesee Tiin was also a master of Form 5 Gem So. Saesee Tiin was actually very similar personality-wise to Mace Windu, absolutely hating the dark side. In fact, he was one of the few Jedi that refused to forgive Master Quinlan Vos after he fell to the dark side, refusing to even call him by his name. It was Saesee's massive disdain for the dark side that made Windu select him, as well as his ability to read minds and combat prowess. Windu also believed the aggression of Form 5 could confront anything that Sidious threw at them. His reaction to the news are as follows. Kit Fisto expressed his concerns about the mission, and Saesee Tiin would interrupt him. Yoda is pinned down on Kashyyyk, and Kenobi is out of contact on Utapau. The Dark Lord has revealed himself, and we dare not hesitate. Think not of if, Master Fisto. This duty has fallen on us, and we will suffice. Like Windu, Saesee Tiin was ready to end the oppression of the Sith. And now, the final Jedi Master to cover is Agen Kolar, the Zabrak Jedi. Interestingly, Kolar might be the most qualified master for this mission out of all of them besides Windu personally. Agen Kolar was blunt and unrelenting like a Warsher tree on Kashyyyk. He never much cared for diplomatic niceties and was known for swift and decisive action. His idea of diplomacy was stand down or be put down. Agen Kolar was a master of unarmed combat and one of the best martial artists in the Order since that of Qui-Gon Jinn. He was known for taking down an entire mob of angry Cantina patrons without drawing upon his lightsaber even once. But should he ever draw his lightsaber, we would swiftly understand why Windu selected him to confront the Dark Lord. Perhaps besides Windu, he was the best with the blade, some calling him one of the greatest in galactic history even. A master of Form 4 Ataru, and was perceived to be second only to Yoda and rivaled by Ki-Adi-Mundi with the form. Additionally, Agen Kolar was an adept master of Form 5 as well, which often combined Gem So and Ataru swordplay in his fighting style, similar to the likes of Anakin. Kolar's proficiency with the lightsaber was such that the Jedi Council believed that Windu and Kolar alone would be enough to significantly counter Sidious, and that the rest of the Jedi were simply padding. In the minutes prior to their final mission, unlike the other two Jedi Masters with him, Kolar was at total peace. He said nothing the whole time, but calmed the worried Fisto and the impatient Tiin by simply saying, "Peace, Windu is coming." He was in a serious state of mind and had no time for reluctance or over-eagerness. He was completely center within himself and knew the Force was his ally, and in the end, it was a true shame that he had to be destroyed at the hand of Sidious. But anyway, my friends and acolytes, has this explanation changed the way that you view these Jedi and this scene at all? What are your thoughts on all of these Jedi and why they were selected? And does it make Darth Sidious taking them out so quickly all the more terrifying? As always, my friends, may the Force be with you, and we hope to see you back at the archive soon.